Today I want to explain a little bit about how Proto Troops work inside of Boom Beach. I don't know if there's ever been like a really good tutorial for this, probably, but I'm going to do one and it's going to be pretty relaxed, so let's hop into it. And I'm also going to be attacking Dr. T with the critter cannons. So here's how it works. Basically, Proto Troops are troops that Boom Beach doesn't want to release permanently, but wants us to have fun playing with new troops, new unique troops, and honestly, they are a lot of fun. You get a Proto Troop one level under your HQ level. So I'm in HQ 21, critter cannons came out, I get level 20 critter cannons to start, and essentially you can get these tokens, these upgrade tokens, and you can go over here and you can upgrade your critter cannon, and it upgrades automatically. You don't have to physically upgrade your critter cannon, but if you attack Dr. T, you attack the daily events, you get these upgrade tokens. Upgrade tokens automatically go over towards that bar. For me it's 1,000, but as soon as I get 1,050, my critter cannons automatically upgrade to the next level, and that's where I get critter cannons next time. I'm not entirely sure if next time I get that level where I ended at, or next time I get one level under my HQ. I believe it's one level under my HQ. I'm like 90% certain. However, it might not be, in which case that little 10% is going to bite me in the butt. And honestly, it doesn't matter, because the upgrades themselves aren't that good. The amount you're actually progressing is not very fast. Like, I got 25 proto tokens out of 1,000. It's gonna take me a while to upgrade, but the upgrades themselves are pretty weak as well. They're not very strong. You might get 50 more health or something. They're not that intense. Anyway, it's a nice system that Boom Beach brought out to bring us better troops, and there's a lot of different Proto Troops, ranging from really good to really bad garbage level status. Now, I'm going to briefly mention a few. I'm not going to be able to remember all of them off the top of my head. Boom Beach first came out with 3 Proto Troops. They came out with the critter cannons, they came out with the laser lasertrons, and they came out with the rainmakers. Those were the 3 first Proto Troops that came out into Boom Beach. Really cool. When they first came out, a lot of players loved them, a lot of players used them. I think there was a time when they had all 3 of them out at the same time. I believe they've done that a few times now, but it's always a lot of fun when we get a Proto Troop. We love making videos on the Proto Troops. They weren't very good though. I mean, the Rainmakers were obviously still good, but the other ones weren't as good. So the next time they brought them out, they buffed them a little bit, and they called them the Mark II. So that's why you see Critter Cannon Mark II. It's because it's the second version of the Critter Cannons. No clue why they did that and not just buff them up a little bit. I don't know if it was a PR stunt or if they physically didn't have the infrastructure in place to make a change to Proto Troops health, which seems weird. I don't know the reason. Anyway, I'm glad they buffed them is the moral of the story. The only important part. So after that, we got a bunch of other Proto Troops. I don't know the exact order, but I'm going to briefly mention a few of them. But first, the frequency of Proto Troops is not the highest. Like, honestly, I think we would get one every month or something. I would say that's probably about the frequency. I haven't really looked back into that's a mistake. I haven't really looked back into the stats to see, okay, we're getting a Proto Troop every 6 weeks or something. I think it's every month, or maybe 2 every month. They are pretty common, and they come out for like 8 days at a time, so you have a lot of time to upgrade them and to play with them. So I would assume that it's probably every month, because it's definitely not every other week that you get a Proto Troop. Anyway, we have the 3 tank Proto Troops, and then we have the engineers. So there's 2 engineer variants. There's the normal engineer and there's the critter engineer, and they are both garbage. They are both the worst troop in the game at the same time. Worst is supposed to be absolute. They are absolutely the worst troop in the game at all times, and I don't think Boom Beach will ever bring out a troop as bad as them. You might think I'm exaggerating, but if you've played with them, you know how absolute garbage they are. The engineer tosses a turret, and the critter engineer tosses one critter at a time. Both are garbage. Both are garbage. Anyway, those were two fairly old Proto Troops, and then we also have the two flying Proto Troops, which are the only two flying troops in the game. Initially, we got them for only warships, but then they came out for our main base as well in the form of a Proto Troop. So you've probably seen them, the two flying troops. We have the rocket choppers, we have the heavy choppers. Both are decent. However, the heavy chopper is just insanely good. Like, unbelievable at warships. Every season, top players push for the heavy chopper to get the heavy chopper. And that kind of shows us that if a troop is in warships that isn't in the main base, it's considered a Proto Troop, and it could eventually come out to the main base. I don't think there are any other Proto Troops that only came out in warships. However, we do have a lot of Proto Troops that came out in our main base that haven't appeared in warships. For example, actually, I'm not going to list them, but there are a lot. So next we have the Bombardier variants. We have the Cryo Bombardier and we have the Melon Bombardier. Both are really good troops. The Melon Bombardier is the best troop in the game. The Cryo Bombardier is also still really good. You'll see a trend starting to happen. Boom Beach will bring out one troop. It might even be a reskin of a current troop in the game, like the Bombardier or like the tank, and they will change the way it fires. So they'll toss something else, or maybe they'll deal more damage, or maybe it'll be like a cluster grenade or something. They're really playing on the variants to get new troops into the game, which I'm fine with that if they are low on people, low on staff. I'm fine with them doing that. I don't actually know if they're low on staff. I'm just kind of assuming that. But I'm fine with them reskinning as long as the troops are good. The engineer is garbage. There's no reason they should have reskinned the normal engineer to bring out a critter engineer. But for things like the Bombardier, for the tanks, I'm happy that they did that reskin. Although it's always fun to get a totally new troop, new skin, I understand that all of that graphic design takes a really long time to make it look good and get it approved. So I'm fine if they just do a reskin or just even change the way the troop fires and attacks. Okay, so we've talked about bombardiers, engineers, tanks, helicopters. There's also some random troops that aren't really reskinned. So we have the villager, which she is, or maybe she's just called the native or something, but she essentially, actually, she is a native. However, the Proto Troop form is called the Protector, which is honestly a pretty garbage troop in my opinion. The Protector just tossing stuff to heal up and give your troops a little bit of damage reduction status effect. However, also still very bad. And then we have the Clone Riflemen and the Zombie Riflemen. I believe those are different. The Clone Riflemen, I've never actually played with the Zombie Riflemen. I was on vacation and never got around to it, but I think the Zombie Riflemen came out around Halloween 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year. But the Clone Riflemen, basically one dies, two spawn in its place. Those die, two spawn in its place. One Rifleman can turn into 6 Riflemen. It's really good. Not as good as the Melon Bombardiers, but still pretty decent. What else? So that was the Riflemen. I know I'm missing some pretty major ones, but I'm not able to put my finger on it. There's a lot. There's a lot of Proto Troops that Boom Beach has put out over the years, and because there's so many, it's fun because we get them at different times. We also have the Cryo Tanks, which wasn't in the initial tank release. However, they have come later at a later date. Also a really fun troop to play with. Not the greatest, however, they are like fine. They're not amazing, they're not awful. Just a few more troops off the top of my head. We have the Incinerator, which was a I believe it was a better version of the Scorcher. We have Dr. Vitamin, which similar to the Protector, or actually more similar to the Medic. It's just a reskin of the Medic. Not even a reskin. Just a Medic, but also tosses vitamins, which we have no clue what the status effect of these vitamins do. However, we think that it's better than the regular Medic, in my opinion. So that is the Dr. Vitamin. There's also a few other ones that I don't quite remember because they've come out a long time ago. We have the Vampire Zukas, which I don't really remember what those are. I think it's just a Zuka with Life Leech on. We have the Seekers, which are actually only warships Proto Troop. Basically, they just target the engine room, never have come out onto the main base. Probably good because they'd probably be pretty overpowered. However, it is a fun troop to play with in warships. Now, there's a lot of others, maybe like 5 others I'm just forgetting the names of that haven't really come out for a while. We've definitely seen Boom Beach favor some Proto Troops over others, and sometimes they'll give us a little dialogue to vote for our favorite Proto Troop in game, so you can vote for the next Proto Troop. So honestly, really, really cool. I love Proto Troops. I love playing with Proto Troops. I'm always excited when Boom Beach brings us a new Proto Troop. However, some Proto Troops are garbage and you should just stay away from them, and we should hate on them every time they come out, like the Engineer. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this shed some light on how Proto Troops work and how you can use them. Yeah, I will talk to you guys in the next Boom Beach video. Bye guys.